Greetings, man. Long overdue. This is the video, man. The definitions that you must know if you hold a birth certificate, any type of green card, or are registered to any de facto government as a citizen or resident under welfare. This is a video for you. You need to understand these things like the back of your hand, like how you know how to tie your shoes. Do you understand, and overstand? You probably don't yet, but maybe you will eventually down the road. Please bear with me, man. Please, man. This one here, if you, this was a shocking video. I mean, this is gonna be a shocking one. If you allow this one to sink in long enough, this one is gonna be a shocker. If you sit around long enough, let me get to you. Let me get to you for half a second. I might even have to light up something for this one. For real. Definitions you must know. It is a must. Give me 2 seconds to find it, and I will be right back. Alright. So, I'm gonna recommend a book, yo, that a lot of y'all should go out and check out. Simple book, man. Cracking the Code 3, yo. It's a good one, man. Many other books out there that you can go do, but I'm gonna just give you that one for now. If you want to try to keep game on a little bit of this stuff here, man. Just give you a lot of insight on some of this stuff. And also get you access to these definitions I'm about to give you. So say I ain't giving you no food. Say I ain't giving you no food, please. Every time you come here, you gonna get something. I'm gonna be subconsciously in your mind, because eventually you gonna donate, or you gonna come back and at least share one of my videos or something. Because I ain't doing nothing but giving. That's what I do. But I'm gonna tell you, there's a universal law here that you can't keep taking. You gotta give back, man. You have to give back. So just wanna let that be known, man. Alright, getting into some of these definitions, man. I gotta take a few toasts, because this is not a video for children. You know, this is not no child's play here. No child's play here at all. I'm gonna start with appellation. A rather obscure word in the English language is defined as follows: to accost, address, call upon. Appeal, the action of appealing to a higher court or authority against the decision of an inferior one, the appeal so made. Why would you want to call an appeal? Well, if you're ever in a situation with a code enforcer, like a judge, and you feel like the decision that was being made against you is not proper, you could always call an appeal, which I just explained just a minute ago, which is an action to a higher court of authority against the decision of an inferior one. The appeal so made. You understand? So we got that. And no, we're not even gonna go there. I'm gonna keep going. This is all about definitions that must be known. We got to get to know. But you know, since that was right in front of me, I just wanted to go ahead and say that. Let me move on though, man, because this is some real tedious information that, you know, once again, commerce. Since I've been talking about commerce so much, let's define commerce. define commerce. Alright, commerce. Equivalent to commerce, to trade together, the exchange of goods, productions, or property of any kind, the buying, selling, and exchanging of articles, the transportation of persons or property by land, water, and air. The various agreements which have for their object facilitating the exchange of the products of the earth or the industry of man with an intent to realize a profit. Alright, commerce. I've been saying a lot how they have contracted your body and how have they been able to do such a thing. Well, scientifically, they know that we are made up of stardust. We are made up of the very Adama, the dirt beneath your feet. Right? With that being said, all of those elements make up the periodic table. And those, as far as you having a soul, you yourself are infinite. We don't really, they have yet to find out exactly what we are. We're still trying to discover what we are as human beings. So, because of those natural resources within us, and because of the vessels made up of those things, they can become of value in commerce, technically, if being contracted in as a transmitting utility, which I'll get into later. So I hope that kind of helps a little bit. Color of law is what we are under as 14th Amendment slaves, Slavics, citizens, right? Color of law, the definition of color of law, the appearance or semblance without the substance of legal right. Misuse of power possessed by virtue of state law and made possible only because wrongdoer is clothed with authority of state, is action taken under color of law. Color. Disguise. Color is often used to designate the hiding of a set of facts behind the sham, taking advantage of the confidence by technically proper legal theory or legal right. So this is colorable law. Colorable means that which is in appearance only and not in reality. What it purports to be, hence counterfeit, feigned, having the appearance of truth. Black's fifth. In the law of trademarks, which is your capital, all capital letter trade name, this phrase denotes such a close or igneous imitation as to be calculated to deceive ordinary persons. We're going to get to the definition of person real soon. But let's go to citizen real quick. Citizen, which in another video I already explained to you, is in numerology you can find it creates the pattern of 666, but let's continue. In American law, one of the sovereign people, a constituent member of the sovereignty synonymous with the people, right? Citizens are members of a political community who, in their associated capacity, have established or submitted themselves to the dominion of a government for the promotion of the general welfare and the protection of the individual as well as collective rights. Okay, so we got citizen now. Right? Your birth certificate is on Chattel paper, which is bond paper, means a record or records that evidence both a monetary obligation and a security interest in specific goods. A security interest in specific goods and software used in the goods. A security interest in specific goods and license of software used in the goods. A lease of specific goods. Or a lease of specific goods and license of software used in the goods. Anyways, records that evidence a right to payment arising out of the use of a credit or charge card or information contained on or for the use of the card. Right? That is what shadow paper means. Excuse me. Shadow is an article of personal property, any species of property not amounting to a freehold or fee in land. Right? Let me those two definitions I need to get back to it and explain a little bit better. Now, the birth certificate is the cestui trust. Cestui use. I'm going to give you the definition of cestui use. The person for whose use and benefit property is being held by another, who holds legal title to the property. Black 7. So, he for who uses and benefit lands and tenements are held by another. The cestui use has the right to receive the profits and benefits of the estate, but the legal title and possession, as well as the duty of defending the same, reside in another. All right. So that your birth certificate was created with the cestui trust. One who possesses equitable rights and property and receives the rents, issues, and profits from it. Beneficiary, Black 7. One who is the right to a beneficial interest in and out of an estate, the legal title to which is vested in another. All right. Certificate of title. I'll go ahead and give this one as well. Means a certificate of title with respect to which a statute provides for a security interest in question to be identified on the certificate as a condition of result of the security interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor with respect to the collateral. So you want to always hold title. You never want to give away title ever in life. And what we have done, we have given away title. And you are issued a certificate of title by the de facto government in the form of a debt obligation. And we don't want to be a part of no debt. You know, we're running away from our debts by using these FRNs, and we need to start discharging these debts the proper way, and that's through the Republic. So let me get y'all some more. Let me really go in, man. I'm sorry, guys. I should have been more together with this, so please bear with me. I will definitely post another video as time goes on with doing this a lot better. So let's go to debtor. Contract. An agreement between two or more persons which creates an obligation to do or not to do a particular thing. Its essentials are competent parties, subject matter, a legal consideration, mutuality of agreement, and mutuality of obligation. Right? All right, right. Cool. So let's go down to de facto, because these are definitions we need to know. De facto. I talk a lot about the de facto and how we are a part of the de facto government. Why it's important we need to get from up underneath the de facto government and take back control, right? In fact, indeed, actually, this phrase is used to categorize an officer, a government, a past action, or a state of affairs which must be accepted for all practical purposes, but is illegal or illegitimate. Thus, an office, position, or status existing under claim or color of right, such as a de facto corporation, compared to de jure, which is in proper standing. So de facto means existing in fact, but yet not officially established, all right? De jure, which is where we want to be with the republic, free, amongst the highest of authority, as a man and a woman, earthlings from Adam, existing by right or according to law, descriptive of a condition in which there has been total compliance with all requirements of law, of right, legitimate, lawful, by right, and just title. In this sense, it is the contrary of de facto. Debtor. Debtor means any of the following: a person having an interest other than a security interest or other lien in the collateral, whether or not the person is a obligor. A seller of accounts, chattel paper, payment intangibles, or promissory notes. A co-signee. A person or business that owes money or is otherwise obligated to another party. Note, your straw man fits in above. A debtor is an enslaved as he is obligated. The Federal Reserve issued credit to the United States government against the all capital letter trade name of your straw man shortly after the birth of the two you, thus incurring the obligation to repay the credit Federal Reserve notes that was loaned. However, since the straw man has no body and means and no means of repaying anything, the burden becomes yours as a physical receipt and of all the benefits, transmitting utility benefits that have been bestowed upon you throughout your entire life in exchange for the government's use of the trade name. Your straw man all capital letter trade name is referred above as your name only because it is a piece of property that you own, but legal title is held by government before redemption. Your straw man's trade name is an artificial entity existing only by force of in contemplation of law, and neither references you nor identifies you. Your true name, written in accordance with the rules of English grammar, more closely identifies you, but is still only another piece of property. I really hope we are all on the same page here. I hope that after hearing these definitions, some of this stuff start making sense, and you go back, watch the videos, and say, damn, this nigga is on to something. All right. All right. What we don't want to do in our contracts is go into dishonor. So I will give you the definition of dishonor. A term applied for the non-fulfillment of commercial engagements, to dishonor a bill of exchange or promissory note, to refuse or neglect to pay it at maturity. Bouvier's 8. A lot of us go into dishonor by running, acquiescing, going into silence, and arguing. We got to stop these things because these are the very things that is keeping us under the clutches of our oppressor, making us debtors instead of creditors. We want to be creditors. Let's go to the definition of creditor real quick. Please, shall we? Excuse me. Creditor. Creditor includes a general creditor, a secured creditor, a lien creditor, and any representative of creditors, including an assignee for the benefit of creditors, a trustee in bankruptcy, a receiver in equity, and an executor of administrator of an insolvent debtor's or assignee's estate. That definition there, if it, I want to tat it on me. UCC 1-20112. Note, each type of representative of creditor listed above is in itself a precise description of Secretary of the Treasury, who is the official receiver in bankruptcy over the bankrupt U.S. government reorganizing plan number 26/1955 USCA 903 Public Law 94-564 Legislative History page 5967. Right? Debtors and creditors. The same is true in law. The most senior form of codified law on the planet is the UCC. There are only two kinds of people: debtors and creditors. The same is true in any statutory court. Judges and attorneys are also included in this definition. Creditor, per the International Revenue Code, also means employer. All right? Credit. We really want to have credit, man. We want to have credit to some degree. We really do. Credit is like your heartbeat here. And I'll give you the definition, but I'm going to go into credit on another video. Anyways, the credit of an individual is the trust reposed in him by those who deal with him that he is of ability to meet his engagements, and he is trusted because through the tribunals of the country he may be made to pay. So credit just means establishing your belief and trust within the creditors. You know what I'm saying? If you are a creditor, if you have a strong credit, then you have a strong belief system, a very strong heartbeat, a very solid foundation. So it is very important to have a good credit here, especially if you do not want to be operating in hell, where Satan lives in the de facto world. You understand? There is heaven on earth, but you have to rise above the very clinches that are holding you back. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna pause the video and get to some other definitions. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. So employee. For the purpose of this chapter, the term employee includes an officer, employee, or elected official of the United States, a state, or any political subdivision thereof, or the District of Columbia, or any agency or instrumentality of any one or more of the foregoing. The term employee also includes an officer of a corporation. All right. Employee is cool and all, but you want to be the authority. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the authority. All lawyers and judges operate from the title of Esquire. I'm going to give you the definition of Esquire. Esquire, a member of the English gentry, ranking immediately below a knight. Webster's Third New International Dictionary of the English Language, unabridged. A man belonging to the higher order of English gentry, ranking immediately below a knight. Applied to various officers in the service of a king. In the U.S., the title belongs officially to lawyers. OED, originally a shield bearer or armor bearer, an attendant on a knight, a title of dignity next above gentleman and below knight. The truth about esquires of this manual for full expose. Esquires is they are esquires to the queen. They are British esquires, and they are only here to um to push and demand the commercial liability after we became accommodation parties to the debt, after refusing countless times over and over again. That's the only reason why they are here. So please believe me, they are not here for you. X federal, of or pertaining to or founded upon or organized by a compact or act of union between separate sovereign states, as or by league of common interest and defense as regards external regulations, the internal sovereignty of each member remaining unimpaired, as a Hanseatic League or the German confederations. Note, observe the last two entities above for what they reveal and confirm that it was acknowledged no later than 1866 that people have both a private and corporate capacity. This is the essence of the difference between true and trade name, flesh and blood man and straw man, and the several states were nations/countries into themselves and referred in the plural between 1776 and 1789 by following the unanimous adoption of the Constitution. They were unified into a single federal nation and spoken of in the singular, because they are separate from the Republic. Please understand that. Federal Reserve notes. Must start. Please stretch this. Federal Reserve notes. The highest example of a commercial lien is a Federal Reserve note. Federal Reserve notes are nothing more than promises to pay, with gold and silver come back into circulation. Commonly found in commercial circulation, and is a commercial lien upon the labor and industry of all Americans by the international banking system, the fundamental principles and processes of commercial law. Note, the monetary unit for most of the world's trade, Federal Reserve notes, is not defined in law dictionaries, though the formal United States notes, RFRNs, are commercial, military, private, Federal Reserve, reinsurance script. They are permanently unfulfilled, irredeemable evidence of debt. All Federal Reserve notes are loan borrowed into existence. It is a closed system, and as in the board game Monopoly, bankruptcies are inevitable. Must not continue. I'm okay. Anyways, let me keep moving on here, man. Federal zone, which you do not want to be a part of, the federal zone. You want to get out of the federal zone. You really do. Federal zone. Note the terms in this state, and state the capital letters Federal Postal Designation, which will be abbreviated like CA, NY, TX, FL, etc. And the 5-digit zoning improvement plan, which is what ZIP means. Zoning improvement plan, code signified United States jurisdiction. All right. If you don't believe this, in the state Senate document number 43, 73rd Congress, First Session, District of Columbia, the United States. Please check that out. Please check that out. This is a fiat currency that we are using. Fiat, an order of decree, especially an arbitrary one. All right, I hope you understand that. Fictitious name, a counterfeit, feigned, or pretended name taken by a person defending or in some essential particular form his true name. All right, Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. All right. Goods. Y'all really need to understand this because they have turned us into goods on by documentation. Please, please, please catch this. Goods means all things that are movable with security interest attaches. The term includes the unborn young of animals. The term also includes a computer program embedded in goods and any supporting information providing in connection with a transaction relating to the program. The program is associated with the goods in such a manner that it is customarily considered part of the goods. By becoming the owner of the goods, a person acquires a right to use the program in connecting with the goods. The term does not include a computer program embedded in goods that consists solely of the medium in which a program is embedded. The term also does include accounts, shadow paper, commercial tort claims, deposit accounts, documents, general intangibles, instruments, instrument properties, letter of credit rights, letters of credit, money or oil, gas, or other minerals before extractions. UCC 9-102A44, a term of variable content and meaning, all things which are movable at the time of identification to the contract for sale, investment securities and things in action, also includes the unborn young of animals. Black 6. Note all things which are movable, newborn children at the time the security interest attaches equals birth, and execution / registration of the birth document / the birth certificate identifying to the contract equals new birth's footprints, and informer's mother's signature contract equals birth certificate. Things in action equals human fetuses or feces. Hold on, let me get this word right. Hold on, I'm sorry guys. Damn man, I'm sorry guys. I feel a little stupid, but anyways, human fetuses, according to Strong's, and goyim below goyim equals animals. According to the Jewish encyclopedia and Gentile above, a Gentile is a beast. See field, warehouse, receipt, identification of goods, Gentile, and goyim. Goyim is a troop of animals or a flight of locusts, Gentile, heathen, nation, or people. Goy, Gentile, Goy people, non-Jews. Webster's, that is crazy. A non-Jewish person, Gentile. Wow, interesting. Goyim means nation. It is also Jewish slang for cattle or animals. Per Jewish thinking, there are only two nations in the world, the Jewish nation and the Gentile, non-Jewish nation. Yeah. The hold harmless agreement, a contract in which one party agrees to indemnify the other. Right? One of those things we're going to go through later. House Joint Resolution 192 of June 5th, 1933. You really need to know this. You really need to know this. But I'm going to let you get this one on your own. I'm going to go back and do another video on that. Truly. Let's sum it up though, man. We gotta make this a 2-part video because these definitions are just whoo. It get crazy. So I'm gonna go back up to the top and read some of the stuff from 8, and then I'm gonna close it out and come back and do another video because yikes. District of Columbia, a territory situated on the Potomac River and being the seat of government of the United States. It was originally 10 mile squares. It was originally 10 miles square and was composed of portion of Maryland and Virginia, catered by those states to the United States. But in 1846, the tract coming from Virginia was retroceded. Legally, it is neither a state nor a territory, but is made subject by the Constitution to the exclusive jurisdiction of Congress. Blacks 1. Note, a municipal corporation incorporated February 21st, 1871, 16 Sat 419, Statute 419, Chapter LXII, 41 Congress 3rd Session Act, an act to provide a government for the District of Columbia. Excuse me. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going. Get up here about the B's and A's. All right, commercial law is the economic extension of natural law into man's social world and deals with the fundamental principles of human interaction concerning proof of claim, dispute over title, and resolution of disputes. The fundamental purpose of commercial law is to maintain the commercial harmony, integrity, and continuity of society, sometimes also stated as to maintain the peace and dignity of the state. All right. Basically, a phrase used to designate the whole body of a substantive jurisprudence. Application to the rights. Intercourse of persons engaging in commerce, trade, or mercantile pursuits. Blacks 6. Commerce, maxims of commercial law. Alright, moving on. About to cap off this here. About to cap this off. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. I hope this helps and it helps you understand the other videos that I've been posting. I really do, man, because my job is to help you guys understand this. For those who are possibly thinking about taking on something this big. We need to know about banks. We need to know what a bank is. So let's stay in B for a second. Bank means an organization that is engaged in the business of banking. The term includes saving banks, savings and loan associations, credit unions, and trust companies. See person. Okay? Because a bank is a person. It's a third-party entity. Banker's acceptance is what creditors can use as a form of payment. A bill of exchange draft payable at maturity that is drawn by a creditor against his or her debtor. Banker's acceptance are short-term credit instruments most commonly used by persons or firms engaged in international trade. And I'll leave it at that. Bailee means the person who, by a warehouse receipt, bill of lading, or other document of title, acknowledges possession of goods and contracts to deliver them. That's a whole. We're gonna go into that later. We're gonna go into that a little later, cause yeah, we're gonna say that for another video. Artificial, created by art or by law, existing only by force of or in contemplation of law. Artificial person, the person or business to whom, assignee, the person or business to whom a security interest in collateral is transferred. right? Art is a principle put in practice and applied to some art, machine, manufacture, or composition of matter. Allodial, which is legal title or legal title. In okay, anyways, to not free, not holding of any lord or superior, owned without obligation of vassalage or fee, uh, fealty, the opposite of feudal, allodium. Land held absolutely in one's own right, and not of any lord or superior. Land not subject of feudal duties or burdens. A estate held by absolute ownership without recognizing any superior to whom any duty is due on account thereof. So we want to have a allodial title when it boils down to us owning our properties. We want a allodial title. We want legal title. All right. We want to be in an allodium status. Affidavits. As a free man, you will be working through affidavits. An affidavit is a written or printed declaration or statement of facts made voluntarily and confirmed by the oath or affirmation of the party making it, taken before or officer with authority to administer such oath. Um, I've already explained. Okay, admiralty law. They're both synonyms of the same, and it's basically fairy tale law. It exists in the de facto government's jurisdiction, and basically the ruler of that area is the Luciferian Satan, that force that I was speaking of. And I'm just going to use Satan for lack of better terms, since the Bible was found on the Constitution. All right, and let's move on. Adhesion contracts are the contracts that we enter into every single fucking day as 14th Amendment Slavics. Adhesion contracts, a contract so heavily restricted of one party while so non-restricted of another that doubts arise as to its representation as a voluntary or incoerced agreement implies a grave inequality, inequality, oh my gosh, inequality of bargaining power. The concept often arises in the context of standard form printed contracts prepared by one party and submitted to the other on a take it or leave it basis. The law has recognized there is often no true equality in bargaining power in such contracts and has accommodated the reality in construing them. Adhesion contracts. Account debtor means a person obligated on an account, shadow paper, or general intangible. Accommodation surety. See voluntary surety under surety. Accommodation party. One who signs commercial paper in any capacity for purpose of lending his name to another party to instrument. Such party is a surety. Acceptor means a drawee who has accepted a draft. The person who accepts a bill of exchange, generally for drawee, or who engages to be primarily responsible for its payment. Acceptance for value, man. One of the things that as a free man you can utilize to get out of certain binds that um yeah, this is something you could use. Remedy, acceptance, value, holder in due course, banker's acceptance. All the same thing here. Note, by acceptance for value is implied a taking an acceptance of something in exchange for another. This is also another form of payment, just to make that clear. using a credit balance previously established to purchase something. Value as peculiarly defined within the UCC as an esoteric term and implies that some sort of credit has been established beforehand, whereby the party with the credit may take/accept purchase some item in commerce based on his credit, what is owed. It applies in numerous types of situations. Basically, if a party has established his position as a creditor of some sort, he can literally accept, purchase, take anything that would help reconcile the credit discrepancy by executing that particular transaction. Such a creditor, having essential a credit balance, need not obtain anyone's approval before so's action. One example of this is the acceptance for value of a document bearing the creditor's trade name, the birth certificate. The source of all credit and accountability value associated with the trade name is the sovereign flesh and blood man/woman for whose trade name the trade name was derived. So what we want is absolute rights. That is what we want. Because let's be honest, a lot of us ain't trying to go live on the land like that. Ain't nobody living on the land like that no more. Everybody has accepted some form of exchange that opts you into commerce. Alright, so if you are one of those people who still want to be involved in commerce, but you want to have absolute right over yourself, this is what the absolute right means. As regards right to interfere with contractual obligations of another, absolute rights which an individual may exercise without reference to motive, are rights incident to ownership of property, rights growing out of contractual relationships, and right to enter or refuse to enter contractual relationships. By the absolute right of individuals is meant those which are in the primary and strictest sense such as would belong to their persons merely in a state of nature, in which every man is entitled to enjoy, whether out of society or in it, the rights of personal security, of personal liberty, and private property do not depend upon the Constitution for their existence. They exist before the Constitution was made or the government was organized. These are what are termed the absolute rights of individuals, which belong to them independently of all government, and which are governments which derive their power from the consent of the governed, where instituted to protect. Alright, so a long time ago we accepted into terms an adhesion contract that if we want to redo, we could redo. Acceptance, the voluntary act of receiving something or agreeing to certain terms. In contract law, acceptance is consent to the terms of an offer, creating a binding contract that taking and receiving of anything, good part, and as if it were a tacit agreement to a pleading act, a preceding act, which might have been defeated or avoided if such acceptance had not been made. A act of a person to whom a thing is offered or tendered by another, whereby he receives the thing with the intention of retaining it, such intention being evidenced by a sufficient act. Black 6. So we accepted the welfare. So since we have accepted the welfare, we have accepted the colorable law and the identification of the Slavic artificial trade name, which holds no rights, which makes us wear the very number of the beast, 666. And unfortunately, these are the ugly truths you are now faced with since stumbling across this video, which I will bring some more ugly truths to you. I hope watching these videos up to this one helps you sort of kind of understand this stuff a little bit better and gets you a little closer to the very goal which we all seek. I know we all want this, which is freedom. The ultimate goal is freedom, man. Freedom. You feel me? I don't know what you want, but I know what I want. I want freedom. So I hope this video helps, man. Drop a like, a comment, please share, man. Get this video to as many people as you could possibly get to. Tune in for part 2, because I'm really gonna come in and make sure that I deliver this video a lot more professional with a shirt on possibly, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, please, man, get at me, man. Captain of the US A-holes, man. Trying to guide the children back to Zion, for real, where you can be free. In love.